So the name of the school is the Innovation Fellowship. And the Innovation Fellowship is a new international high school in Shibuya for students who want to become successful in life by doing work that is meaningful to them. Our mission at the Innovation Fellowship is to maximize the chance that young people will be happy and successful in life now and forever. So how do we define life success? We have 5 components of success that we believe from our experience. So one is doing what you care about. The other component is doing what you are good at. Doing things you can get paid for. Doing things that the world needs. And doing things with people that you care about. So if you can do things that maximize these 5 components, that is a very happy and successful life, and one that a person is excited to wake up every day and do great things. So everything we do in the program is to help maximize life success personalized to each student. So unlike traditional high school, where students receive instruction from subject area experts who distribute siloed knowledge, students at the Innovation Fellowship receive holistic guidance from experienced coaches and mentors who support the success of their interdisciplinary projects. So myself, I am the founder, head of school, and head of coaching and entrepreneurship. My background is I have founded a number of companies. My main one is called WeConnect. We have about 200 employees and have helped over 1,000 companies with global back office compliance services. I've also founded a company that does global HR technology, but I'm also passionate about education. And so I am the volunteer director of leadership at the international boarding school called UWC Isaac in Karuizawa. Have you heard of Isaac?
Yep, I have.
Great. Yeah, so last year they went through a process to reimagine their flagship leadership program. And I was on the task force and helped co-design and then also co-implement this program to 50 grade 10 students this past year. So every Thursday, I actually went up all day to Isaac since August last year. And yeah, the program was incredibly successful. And so the concepts of this school are based on that particular pilot program, which I'll go into more detail, and just my strong feeling that this needs to be a full-time program and not just one class while the students still then do all the other traditional stuff. Here's me with so of the 50 students that we rolled this program out to, then I personally coached 10. And so here were my 10 coachees, fantastic students. They're all about 15 years old. And here's me with my team at WeConnect. So I'm there in the middle. But yeah, we have about 200 staff. And here's me with my kids. So as you know, right, another big reason to start this school is there's no good high school options for students coming out of the Montessori pipeline, which I'm a believer in MST and Montessori, but one of its weaknesses is it's kind of disconnected from the real world, right? It's great for developing the soul and the individual, and that's a really great foundation, but at some point you need to now tie this to life success. And so this school is, I would say kids coming out of Montessori education would be a great fit for this kind of high school program. So I would expect my kids to probably go to this school as well when they're older. Then my partner, Kai. So Kai is a co-founder of TIF. He's our head of experiential learning and head of excursions and extracurriculars. So his background, he actually was raised in Tokyo. He went to St. Mary's. He's half Japanese, half British. And going out of school, he then focuses on creative education. And he started a company a couple of years ago, helping the international schools of Tokyo do excursions and cultural experiences, doing things like connecting the students to the Ainu indigenous community in Hokkaido, or just all these really cool kind of cultural hands-on experiences. So he's one of the co-founders. Here's Kai with some of his students doing some workshops. And here's him. He has this relationship with the Maasai community. And so these are the kinds of interesting cultural connections that he's supported students to have. So where traditional high school offers a standardized curriculum requiring students to study generic content at an inflexible pace, the Innovation Fellowship offers a personalized curriculum tailored to each student's interests and shaped by their real-world projects. So every curriculum for each student is a one-of-one curriculum personalized to them. 80% of the time that they spend at TIF is focused on meaningful real-world projects. 20% of the time is on traditional subject-based learning, so that we can absolutely check all of the requirements for college 100% to make sure that they're not only leaving TIF with all the benefits of the real world project experience, but also being very attractive to any college that they would want to go to. So we've have created our 9th grade academic structure. So we've collaborated with, there's a organization called Tokyo Academics. I'm not sure if you've heard of them.
Yes, he goes to that one. He
Perfect.
goes to Tokyo Academics once or twice a week.
Excellent. So you're familiar. So they have a very strong college admissions consulting department, about 40 staff. So we collaborated with the director of that department, basically went to them and said, hey, we're creating this school. We want to have the students spend as much time as possible on their real world projects based around this project-based learning. But we also want to make sure that we are checking all the boxes to be an attractive transcript to other international schools or, for example, college. So we collaborated to create this document. And this is where it's really trying to be as practical, efficient, and effective as possible to achieve the goal while having the experience be as positive for the child, right? Again, so all aspects of our original project-based learning method implemented at our school reinforce a singular aim, empower students to achieve life success by designing and executing real-world projects at the intersection of their loftiest dreams and humanity's greatest needs. And while every project and situation is unique, the framework is kind of the same. So first step is, what are you interested in right now? And helping them connect that to meaningful real world missions. And I'll go through some examples in a second. Once you have that, okay, anything worth doing, there are tons of organizations on the front lines of that mission. Who are these organizations? What are they doing? So that takes you from interest to general mission to now tangible, mission that other organizations are already going after. And then you plan your next step project. So, okay, you're interested in this, and here's this mission that is relevant in the real world, and here are these organizations that are on the front lines. Where are you at? Oh, you're at 0. What's the next step? How do I take action to start working towards the front lines? And so that's where we work with them to design that next step project. They take action, they do it. Maybe a project takes typically between 1 and 4 months, maybe more, like average 2 months per project. And so that action, those 2 months validate all your hypotheses, right? I think I like this. This seems exciting. This seems exciting. This seems exciting. This project seems exciting. Okay, now I'm going to do it. You do it, you get to the end. Was it exciting? Is it still exciting? Do you like this? It's okay. This is the time for trial and error. So one option is you go, oh, actually, it wasn't as interesting as I thought it would be. And here's why. Okay. Well, now we can check this off for now. Let's put this aside and let's go back. Given what you've learned about yourself through this 2-month project, let's go back. Let's start again. What mission excites you? Where's the front lines, etc. So this helps crossing something off the list is equally as important as finding something that you like, because this helps limit things down. All of us may think we like something until we do it. Then maybe we learn actually we don't like it. So this is the time to do that. But the better scenario, which will happen at some point, is you do the project and you go, yes, I like this. I'm still excited. I'm still motivated. Cool. Let's go deeper. And then you create the next project, which goes deeper and deeper. And so the goal is, through this trial and error, honestly, like within a year, frankly, especially if this was full time, absolutely, we will find for your child a thing that they are interested in, and we'll validate that interest through sustained motivation. Because this is all hard work. This is not doing what you want. This is not having fun. This is doing what you're interested in. But this is hard work. So if you're the whole goal is to find work where your natural interest allows you to do the hard things more easily, right? And you validate that by still wanting to do more and more and more. We also have something that we're setting up called the Innovation Fund, which is a nonprofit that provides grants for students' projects. And we already have 10 million yen in donations committed to that fund. So when the students want to do whatever they're working on, they may need to buy a drone, or you need a 3D printer, or you need this, or you need that. And so this is where we have this fund that's just purely dedicated to helping students get the money they need to advance on their projects. So let's look at some case studies. So again, in 2022 to 2023 school year, I co-designed and implemented a pilot of this methodology at UWC-Isaac to 50 grade 10 students. The pilot was a resounding success and has convinced me that a full-time school revolving around this methodology is necessary. So here are some example projects by some of my students. So these two students, for example, they did a project called Sprout. They created a business that helps improve sustainability around food security. They wanted to make it so that we wouldn't have any lack of food in the world. One of the students is from Lebanon, one's from Hong Kong. So they just had personal experiences where this was something that was important to them. And they've done fantastic things. I'll go into that in more detail in a second. And then these two students, Saka Midori, they were passionate about helping foreign families navigate the Japanese public school system. So from their own personal experience, they saw the issues that foreign families face in Japanese schools, and they wanted to do an initiative around that. So they ended up creating this like amazing website with all these resources, and then actually were able to collaborate with the Karuizawa education, I guess, community, the schools, to pilot. They're piloting now a program to support the schools to help these foreign families, because this is a real need. Like, Japanese schools don't know how to effectively support foreign families who don't speak Japanese well. So that's cool. All of these things come from their natural interests, like zero influence. It was just, what do you want? What are you interested in? Let us help you now make that a meaningful project.
That's crazy.
So, but this is even crazier. So this project Sprout, it just blew my mind how incredible the outcomes can be if you do things you care about, right? So let's go through an example. So these two students, Ethan and Amin, they're interested in food security, right? This is back in August. They have this idea. Okay, cool. They want to make it so no one ever has to go without food, right? This is the mission. I want to make it so no one has to go without food. Okay, they explored the front lines of innovation, and they say, hey, okay, we want to use precision agriculture technology. This is like certain kinds of imagery techniques to prevent crop disease and increase food abundance. Okay, that's what you want to do. You are at zero. What do we do, right? So they went through, in the end, 6 discrete projects over the course of 8 months. This is one class too, right? But again, because they did 6, because as they did each project, their interest just grew. They were incredibly motivated. Now they're on project 6, which is connecting with mentors, kind of these like organic internship processes. So I was able to connect them. I know this person who's the CEO of this company called 3 Trees, and they're a startup around carbon credits. Okay, they're doing reforestation in Africa to finance carbon credits for companies who want to offset their carbon footprint through financing the reforestation efforts. So connected them. He was really, he's like, oh wow, I could see potential for this technology for our reforestation efforts. They hadn't explored this before. So this wasn't like me going to him and saying, hey, I got some kids, would you mind charitably giving your time? This was like him being like, I want to talk to these kids because I think they can help me. So it was that win-win. So connected them to this company, and the outcome was they're doing these like amazing projects now with this company because the company wants it, not because this is like some sort of, there's absolutely nothing from me beyond just connecting them, in terms of like, we're not paying them, we're not asking them to do some sort of like school internship thing. This is just, have these kids that are doing these awesome things in a space relevant to you. Do you want to talk to them? And it became a meaningful thing. So this was after their first, they now have a call like every week. After their first call with Ethan and Amin, the CEO of 3 Trees, this guy Ian, writes back and he's like, thank you so much. Wow, like so exciting. Here are 3 ways I want to collaborate with you. I want you to educate my company on this particular kind of software and its potential application for our reforestation efforts. We want you to provide support to us to help us identify which plots of land would be best for our reforestation efforts. We want you to help us monitor how this technology can support our reforestation efforts on an ongoing basis, to support, maximizing the growth of the trees and the transparency to our stakeholders. And I also want you to help investigate how, monitoring the space to evaluate just how, we can improve the use of the technology for our efforts. So he just identified these three things, and he's more having to be like, look, I know you guys are students, so if you can't do it, that's fine, but like I would like your help with this. And of course, the students are like, oh, awesome, like this is a real thing. Like they're so motivated, right? This is real. And Ian wants to pay them, do a summer internship thing, whatever, but it's just this organic, real world process that would be the same process even if they weren't students. So that was the end. That was 8 months, one course, right?
That's great.
Right.
That's awesome.
So then all the coaches, we just asked if they were willing to do a testimonial, and they all were. And so we have, we're putting together like a highlight reel, but all the students were very happy to do kind of a testimonial to the methodology, to my coaching. So that's, helping give me more credibility as a coach. They're all, I guess this was great. I won't go into those in detail now. College readiness. So the Innovation Fellowships curriculum is dynamic and academically rigorous, dedicating the necessary time to cover all critical subject areas, while also adapting to each student's goals and needs, enabling them to uncover the dormant X factor that will dramatically improve their chances of admission success. So unlike a lot of alternative schools, I don't want parents to take a leap of faith and have to sacrifice college, for example, or other opportunities for this alternative program. This is the best of both worlds. And so I want to really highlight, because people get the misconception that when you're doing what you like, that means like, oh, so are my kids going to play video games all day long? Or like, what if they just want to watch TV all day? That's not how this works. This is hard work. This doesn't mean doing what they want. It means doing what they're interested in, but meeting the requirements of this program like we talked about. So anything the student does, it has to make sense to them, but it also has to make sense to us, right? And so we guide them through that process. And we have designed this so that college is fully checked. All the requirements to be attractive to a top tier college and more is covered through this program. And again, here's that testimonial. Here's Jason, the head of director of admissions at TA, and him just saying, this is an amazing program. So what you graduate with an impressive portfolio of project outcomes that allows you to stand out from your peers. You graduate with a complete transcript that meets the requirements of top high schools and colleges. You graduate with a deep understanding of who you are and how you best fit into the world. And you graduate with the entrepreneurial mindset and skills needed to independently progress on your goals. So our campus, okay, we are not an online school. We are a physical school, very clear. So we 8:30 to 3:30, okay, 5 days a week. So in collaboration with Tokyo and in the spirit of entrepreneurship, our campus is in the Plug and Play Innovation Center, which is a 5-minute walk from Shibuya Station. Students will work in a modern open space environment around other startups, while also having access to a dedicated space. My company is also in the same building, and we have a deep collaboration with Tokyo. It's a great environment. Will we be there forever? Probably not. But to start, that's where it's a great place to start. And as we grow and decide maybe to change locations of the campus, need more space, whatever, that will be in collaboration with the first cohort of students and parents. But this is what this place looks like. So this is the campus entrance. This is the open workspace. More open workspace. There are meeting rooms. There is access to event space. If we want to do an event, you can rent that out. There's a nice kitchen. And yeah, again, 5-minute walk from Shibuya Station, very accessible. This is not 1.5 hour bus ride out to the suburbs every day. But this is like, you can think of this as like the hub, okay? Because we intend for the students to spend a lot of time outside of the school. So we don't need to have in-house all of these things, right? You want to do a science experiment. You don't need a lab in your school. There are plenty of high, amazing, accessible facilities all around Tokyo, right? You don't need this in school every day. So not only will this allow access still to all the facilities and equipment that a student needs, it forces them to interact with the surrounding community, right? So instead of having the entire education be in a vacuum, in a bubble of the school, this forces the students to go out and have to connect, of course, guided by the coaches and supervised by the coaches with the surrounding community organizations. So whether that's accessing facilities or doing some sort of excursion, which again is Kai's, my co-founder's specialty, both in Tokyo and outside of Tokyo, there'll be lots of exploration beyond the plug and play campus. We have lots of external partners. So this mentorship program is, I think, one of the most amazing things, because traditionally a mentorship program or an internship program, right? What is it? Schools have to basically ask professionals for their time, and it could be a big time commitment. And the problem, though, is then the school ends up throwing students at them who are not a good fit for that person, right? So a student may think, oh, I think I like finance. Okay, let me connect you with this person. And then that person connects with them and the student's not that serious and they feel like it's a waste of time. It's just like, this is not a good thing for anybody. So we have this amazing, novel, but very practical approach. You go to anybody, right? And you say, hey, Jennifer, let's say you are experienced in a particular field, okay? What is something that a 15-year-old could do that would make you just go, wow, right? So let's just say I'm talking to someone who's in agriculture, right? So hey, precision agriculture person, what would be something a 15-year-old could do that would make you go, wow, that's impressive? And they would say, yeah, if they could do a prototype of using this particular software like this, that would be really impressive. Okay, great. So if I had a student that did that, would you be willing to talk to them? Oh yeah, absolutely, I'd love to. Okay, great. Can I put you on our list as a mentor? Yeah, no problem, right? So what happens is, again, we have basically this massive list of people from all different industries who've expressed to us what would be exciting for them that a young person could do. And they've committed that they'd at least have a call if a student had accomplished that. So this is then we go back to the student. When the students go, oh, I'm interested in this, and we attach it to the mission, the goal, they go through those first foundational projects. What the mentors say would be impressive helps guide us in what would be a good first step project, right? Because if someone's interested in finance, right, and they're going to do this first step project, well, wouldn't a good project be one that would get you access to this impressive person in finance? Great. So let's do internally first. We'll coach you through this initial project using online resources and our natural resourcefulness. You're going to then complete that, and you will have that checkpoint. Do I like this? If the answer is no, I'm not going to connect you to a mentor. I don't want to waste their time. If the answer is yes, now you're ready to have that call. You're experienced. You are proven you're motivated. You have a credibility. You've done the thing that they think is impressive. Have that call and see where it goes. But it's very clear, everyone in the world wants to help impressive young people, especially help them if it's relevant to their field of expertise. So this is where those kinds of connections become like with Three Trees, right? Ian and Three Trees, he's like, hey, I'm happy to talk to these students. I facilitate that. And that just becomes this amazing collaboration. It's that easy, right? So what we're doing that's different is just make it a win-win. Make the connection something that's meaningful to both parties, not some charitable effort from somebody, right? So that's the mentorship side. Then, organizing a partner organization. So there's, for example, this one called IDEA. They're creating this global platform for young people to collaborate on projects. So this is like how, even if we only have like 5 students, for example, at our school, if we can give them access to this global platform that has all these other young people wanting to collaborate on projects, we're transcending the boundaries of a school, right? We don't need to have the students that the young people that the students interact with do not need to be confined to one school, right? Let's transcend the boundaries of these kind of artificial boundary schools. So this is an example of a great partner that's super excited to collaborate with us, and it's very relevant to what we're doing. And there's all these other great partnerships as well. Yeah, so that's the gist of the school. I'll stop there and turn it back to you. I'm sure you have maybe many. Well, first, what do you think? What do you think of the concept? What are your thoughts on the school?
It's amazing. It's so novel that I have to get my head wrap around it, because I've been researching schools and it's usually just, American curriculum, IB, British, and, you kind of know what the deal is, and it's kind of tweaked a little bit. IB is kind of like the most different, probably the most similar to this, but it's still way, way, way out of like what I was imagining it to be. I feel like it's more. Oh,
Yep, you there?
yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
the iPad's about to die.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy because it's so different, and it's something that you don't think you didn't even think that you wanted for your kid, you know? Um, I wish I had this in my time,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
because I had no like direction. You kind of just like, oh, I think I kind of wanted to do that, and that's kind of what you did, and you didn't have like any chance to like jump ship. You're kind of like stuck with that. But this is awesome.